Okay, we are finally live. All right, so let's see here who's on board. We'll wait a few minutes because I know a lot of people really wanting to hear this one today. So let's make sure everything is working because I know quite a few people have been having issues with lives today. So if you're there, please let me know, just so I can at least see if I have any comments showing up and go from there. Okay, I see 2 viewers, but I'm not seeing any comments or anything yet. So I guess I'm gonna literally be doing this blind. So yes, I have an eye patch on today. It was my only option because it was either that or not do this, and that's not an option. You all know me. I do not wait for circumstance to favor me. I create my circumstances, and this just happens to be a part of it. There we go. All right, yay. Okay, Holly's here. Hello from San Diego. Holly, I do have it in my notes to mention you here in all of this. I was going to do this live anyways. I had it planned for about a week, and then I had a session with Holly, and this whole live is going to be something totally different. Thanks to Holly. I've decided that, oh, hi, Nietzsche. Okay, everybody's here. Everything is working. All right, let's get comfortable. As comfortable as I can anyways. So first of all, I did a session with Holly, and she really helped me to understand the power of my story. And one thing that I have been talking about since the beginning of Heartfelt is my psychological and emotional triggers. That is the foundation of Heartfelt. This is how we market ourselves without marketing. This is how we connect instead of market to or at people. This is how we really create a situation for ourselves where we are manifestable. Instead of saying, oh, I need to manifest a client, just give the universe all of the things that it needs so that other people can manifest you. This way, it's a 2-lane super highway. You're manifesting clients and clients are manifesting you. These are the foundational elements of Heartfelt because we're not marketing, we're not pitching, we're not, oh, wait, move your mic. It's rubbing against something I don't have a mic on. Let me see here. This is the fan. All right, so I'm going to use my headphones here. 1 second, guys. Kenny's sneakily listening in. All right, let's try that. All right, let's try this because this is important. You all need to be able to hear this well. All right. Does this sound better? Anybody? Nietzsche. Anybody? I'm not seeing anybody's names here now all of a sudden, but I'm gonna guess that the person who said aloha is Tracy. So aloha, Tracy. Can anybody hear me a little better? Okay, good. I'm gonna say that yes meant yes. All right, so here I am, further encumbered, but it's okay. I got this. We got this all right. Okay, perfect, good. So where was I? Okay, so Holly helped me to understand that maybe if I shared with you all how these psychological triggers came to be, because you know what they are, and you probably, if you've been paying attention, you know how to use them. And if you're new, don't worry, I'm going to show you that training and a more recent training even that really covers all of these psychological triggers. But I really felt like, yeah, she's right. Holly's right. The showing of it, the telling of it, the story behind the story behind the story is really powerful and important. And it's time. It's time that you all knew. I mean, I have alluded to pieces of my story here and there, but yeah, I haven't really told it. And you all deserve to know where this started, how this started, where it came from, and how it's impacted my life personally and my business as well. So today what I'm going to do is not only am I going to give you a challenge around these psychological triggers and really explain how it works for me, but I'm going to tell you where it came from. So this might be a little triggering for some people, just going to put that out there. I don't intend to do that. That is one of the biggest reasons why I haven't told my stories, because I don't want to traumatize my audience. But I have to say it. I have to get it out so that you guys know the truth. I'm not just a talking head. I'm not just somebody who paid another coach thousands and thousands of dollars. I have spent thousands of dollars in coaches, but this isn't just a regurgitated thing that I heard from somewhere else and put my own spin on it. This is my spin.
And I'm going to share with you today the spiral that created what I have here and what I'm giving to you on a daily basis here. So it's the psychological triggers. No question there. Oh, I'm starting to see names now. Yay. Oh, thank you, Holly. Thank you so much. And so let's get started. I feel like I'm procrastinating. I'm a little nervous, you guys. I'm not gonna lie. I have never been nervous about a live. A little nervous here today. So give me some good energy, some good vibes, and virtual hugs as I try my best to get this out without crying and without singing and all of that. I'm making this work for everyone, not just me today. So I want to make sure that we're all clear that this story has a happy ending. You see it, it's here, and it's all working out. So as you have seen throughout the week, I have been posting different things about how the first time I ever really intentionally and massively successfully manifested something for myself, I was 7 years old. And so when I was 7 years old, I was awarded the state. I was living in an orphanage in northern Michigan and just kind of trying to get through life. You didn't know what up from down. I was being tossed from orphanage to orphanage and then orphanage back to my original father and back again. And I was bounced around a lot. I had no expectations for life. I didn't hold anybody accountable to any promises or anything like that because I just knew, no, please, come on. That's just not how life worked for me. So I was 7 years old. It was 1989. So yes, I'm 36 years old, if anybody's wondering. And I had a meeting with a new person that I had never met before in the social services department. And her name was Gail. And she sat me down and she said, I have some news for you. I was like, oh, crap. That's never a good sign. Oh, you're going to another family or somebody, there's no room, somebody needs your bed, whatever it might be. It was never good news when I heard that. This time was a little bit different. Very different, actually. This time she sat down and she said, you have an opportunity to have a forever family now. And I was like, what? I've heard that phrase used. I've seen other kids in the orphanages go to their forever families with their just new toys and house and all of that. I've seen it happen for other kids, but I was like, nah, right. That sounds cute. But I still allowed myself to watch the princess fairy tale stories and everything like that and be like, oh God, wouldn't that be nice? At 7 years old, you really want that for yourself. So I allowed myself to fantasize about these things. But when it finally presented itself, I was like, what? Wait a minute. And so she started asking me questions. She's like, well, what kind of family do you want? And I was like, what? I don't know. And so I just blurted out the first thing that came to my mind. I want a little brother and I want him to be blonde. And I picked up my Cabbage Patch doll that was very loved and tattered and I showed it to her and she's like, okay. She nodded very, very intently. Like, I'm listening, which is odd for me at 7 years old for somebody to intently listen. But then she wrote it down. She wrote it down. And I kind of was like, what? That's she just made, for me, it was like her writing that down and nodding. It was making it happen. I was like, oh, so then I just went crazy. I went nuts with it. I want a big white farmhouse and I want to live next to a secret stream and I want a bedroom that's purple with unicorns and I want a big closet. I want a big backyard and I want a tree house. I want all, I just kept going. One of them was, I want lots of grandparents. I want so many grandparents, and just kept going and going. And she was, I'm sure, not writing it all down because I was going really fast, but she was nodding and writing things. She's probably writing more like, this girl's got a lot of wishes in her notes. I haven't seen the notes, but I got it all out and I was ready to go. Like, all right. So I left her office and I remember it being summertime. So her office, public office is very cold, a little over air conditioned. I remember hitting the warm summer air and just feeling like that like brick wall of foggy weighted heat was like, it just was settling on me. Like, this is real. This is happening. Something about that heat. And even now here in the Caribbean, when I leave a cold space and go outside into the hot, hot Caribbean air, I just feel like I just manifested something, whatever it might be. That's just how I feel. It's so visceral, the memory. And I went back to the orphanage, and that night I did not sleep. I did not sleep at all. There was no chance I was going to be sleeping. I felt like that princess in all of the movies. I'm going to have all of these things. Not once did my mind skip a beat and say, maybe you won't get the red car, or maybe there won't be a tree house. It just was it. And I remember laying in my bunk. I had the lower bunk and just looking up at the bunk above me with another orphan just like sleeping away. Like she was sleeping away. And I was like, I'm not going to sleep until this is real for me. So the next day I woke up and it didn't happen. I didn't wake up with the perfect family. No, but it did take a couple of weeks, but it was really quick. I mean, even, as an adult, people were telling me that happened really fast, even for the standards of the state of Michigan, which, well, the standards aren't very high, I learned, but it happened really quickly. So the next time I saw this beautiful genie, Gail, she came to me with a gift, a book. And at the time I was, almost 7 and still not really able to read, because before this is a whole nother story. I was not in the education system. I wasn't reading or anything. So Gail brought this book and I was sitting with Judy and I just looked at it, this little yellow book, and just kind of tilted it toward her. And Judy said the title of it. And it was written, okay, I'm gonna cry. Written on the cover is, you can try not to. Okay, written on the cover was our family album. And I still have it. I'm gonna compose myself. 1 second. And it was from a family who wanted me. And they were excited. And so they created this to introduce themselves to me. Take a sip of coffee. 1 second. All right, coffee does the trick, right? So they made this book and they gave it to Gail, and Gail gave it to me. And in this book is almost every single thing that I wanted. There is a big white house. Where is that one? There's a big black dog. There's dozens and dozens of grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins. And it was beautiful. And I was wondering to myself, who are these people? And how do they have this life? This is not real. This looks like the fairy tales, right? 1 second. And then there was that page with the big white house. And I knew it was real. I knew these people were real. This is not a fairy tale, because on this page, it says, your room would be the one on the top right. We haven't decorated it yet because we want to know what colors you want. And I really, my 7-year-old self is just like, what? I can have that? That's a thing? Oh my God, I did it. I manifested this and it's documented and it was just plopped into my lap at 7 years old. So yay, right? Yay, she did it. Yay, she gets her forever family, and it's exactly what she asked for. Fast forward 5 years. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. All of it. It was exactly what I wanted, and it wasn't what I needed. It wasn't what I desired. My wants and my desires, I was 7, I manifested exactly what I wanted, but not the life that I needed. There was something missing, something not there. We weren't connected. We weren't bonded. We weren't true. I mean, it was all a lie. It was all a lie. And I know, Heather, you're here somewhere. Heather's been with me since the beginning, known her for 30 years. And it was her family that I actually manifested. But I wasn't connected to these people in any way. It was very raw, and it was very, I don't know, we all know stories, or even families, maybe even your family, you know what? We all went to church and we were so adorable, and I was just a well-behaved little girl. On the outside, It looked like this family was the epitome of just love and grace and laughter and joy. And oh my gosh, these people are so beautiful for adopting this adorable little girl. And I was cute. I'm not gonna lie. I was really cute. But behind closed doors, it was nothing like that. We looked good on paper. We looked good on paper. And so it was about 5 years later, 12, almost 13, that it really hit me that, okay, this is what's missing. Because until then, I'm a kid, I'm still figuring things out, and communication and connection and all of that. I'm still learning these things. I figured it out finally when I was about 12 and a half, 13 years old. I came home from school one day, and coming home from school was always not fun for me. I loved school. That was my jam. I excelled almost obnoxiously. I was president of every club there was, president of National Honor Society, Kids Against Drugs, and just whatever there was that could distract me from my home life, I did. But every day I still had to come home. And I always had a feeling something was coming. Jenny, my mother, my adopted mother anyways, she had a way of letting me know her disapproval, and it was documented every time. So I would come home from school, and there would more often than not be a note or a list or something like that on my desk or sitting on my bed of all the ways that I had fucked up in the last 24 hours. Work on this. You did that. I can't believe you did that. That embarrassed me. Why did you say that? Whatever it might be. Just on beautiful, like pink or pale blue paper with her perfect penmanship. Oh my gosh, I can't even handle her penmanship. It gives me anxiety. But it was just very well laid out how much she disapproved of me. And so on this particular day, I get off the bus, which was obnoxious anyways. We're the only house on a dead end street at the far end, like the end of a dead end dirt road. And so all the kids are always moaning and groaning, like, oh, why can't you just walk down the street? I'm like, I get off the bus every time and I'm like, you know what? I'm 12. I don't make these decisions for myself. So then I get off the bus and I go in the door. I put my backpack down on this like antique school desk, wooden. It was really cute. Put my backpack down. I go up the wide, creaky wooden steps in this beautiful farmhouse, all the way down the hallway to that top room on the right that I thought was going to be beautiful, never ended up being. I open the door, and there's my beautiful lavender bedroom with unicorns. And instead of a note, there she is. She's sitting on my bed. My heart stopped. I was, oh, shit. Oh my God, what is happening here? And she didn't look uncomfortable. So I was like, okay, maybe this isn't bad. I don't know. She didn't look angry or anything. Her posture was so relaxed. And she put her hand out on my bed, not so much to say, come sit here. Just come sit down and let's chat. More of a leaning in, getting comfortable, really leaning into what she's about to say. And I'm like, okay, did somebody die? Did I do something wrong? Again, my head is running through the last 24 hours. What did I do that would be so bad that she has to show up here herself and tell me this? What is it? And I'll be honest, I don't know what she said in the beginning. It's still to this day, I cannot grasp at the words, but I do know what she ended it with. And her final words in that conversation, well, this one-sided conversation, was, I don't love you. I can't connect with you. She said this to a 12-year-old girl who had been through so much shit, and now she's just adding to it. I froze. My heart was racing. We all have had that anxiety where our hands feel heavy, or we feel our blood pressure rising. There's just like weights everywhere. Your ears start ringing, not buzzing, not dinging, but ringing. You don't see what's in front of you anymore. You're just feeling the weight of what was just said. For me, what does this mean? Literally, what does this mean? You can't connect with me. You don't love me. What does this, are things going to change? Are you kicking me out? What's going on here? What's going on here? I had no idea what to think or feel or do or say. So I didn't think, feel, do, or say anything. I just stood there. She got up. She had to walk around me to get out of the room because I was still stuck in my doorway. Like, I felt dumb. I literally felt dumb and unlovable. And that was my truth at the time. And so she left, and I could hear her walking down the doorway or down the hallway. And then that familiar creak, I know the creak of every single stair in that house, even to this day. I heard the creaking as she descended the stairs. And as she descended the stairs, I slowly slumped down to the floor. And I didn't fall to the floor. It was such a slow slump. And I'm still standing, trying to still stand. I'm just on my feet, but my hands are on the floor. My head's between my knees. And I just sobbed. I lost my shit. I sobbed and I sobbed and I sobbed. And I just stood there, slumped over, looking at this lavender bed skirt that was supposed to be the representation of this beautiful thing that I'd manifested for myself. And it was all a lie. All of it was a lie. And for me, that is where everything changed. Everything changed for me. I finally knew what it was that was missing, what I did wrong in this manifestation. I forgot to ask for love. I forgot to ask for connection. I forgot to ask for, I guess, give a shit. I forgot to ask for all of these things. And I had to really ask some hard questions. And over the next couple of months and weeks, asking those questions did happen. But in the meantime, it was very strange because a few hours after this happened, I pulled myself together enough to go downstairs for dinner, because that is one perfect thing about this perfect family. We ate dinner together as a family every night, and nothing changed. If anything, she looked relieved. She looked like she had this huge weight off of her shoulder by having put it on mine. And to this day, I don't know if Bruce, my dad, has any idea that that conversation or the reoccurring iterations of the same conversation ever happened. I don't know, because he did not look at all surprised. And he was a good man, trust me. Amazing guy. If he had known, I think something would have been said, I hope. But I don't know. I don't know to this day. And the fact that she didn't change meant, okay, maybe I have a chance here to learn something, fix it, reverse things, figure this out, right? So I wasn't being kicked out. I wasn't being sent back to the orphanage or anything like that. Okay, there's a little bit of hope. This sucks. This sucks, but there's hope. I can do something, maybe. What am I going to do? I don't know. So what I figured out in the next couple of weeks and months was a couple of key factors. Number one, it's not my fault. I had to figure that out. This is not my fault. First of all, I'm the child in this situation, that she's an adult. Try to connect, at least try. Maybe give it a shot, I don't know. But I also realized that there were some things about myself and my personal nature that didn't allow for connection. So this is where I'm going to briefly give you some of the pre story. The before I manifested my perfect family, I was severely neglected and abused as a child before I was put into the system. And so therefore, there's some things that you should know. Just to preface this, but this might be the triggering part if you're easily triggered. La, 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 la. But anyways, I was afraid of connection. I was programmed, I was wired to avoid connection at any costs. Because for me, as a 3, 4, 5-year-old, anything so much as eye contact could mean pain, injury, death, who knows what, because I had a sociopath for a mother, chronically drug addicted, everything like that. I had a just drunken pedophile for a father, and just a bored rapist for an uncle. And these were the 3 people that were in my life. I didn't know anybody else. These were the 3 people that I had any opportunity to make a connection with as a child. Now, my children, they have learned connection and communication just kind of through osmosis, because we talk with them and we use language and we hug and we tell each other that we love each other. We're Team Hargrove and all of that. But for me, it was, don't do that or you will die. So don't connect, because if you even make the smallest connection, they're going to notice you and they're going to mess with you until they're bored. And so I did not make those connections as a child. Connection was something to avoid. So that was something I was working with. And so that situation there created, in the mental health community, we call it emotional attachment disorder. Literally not able to make attachments, or afraid to make attachments and connections and communications, that sort of thing. So I was working with that. And also, I wasn't diagnosed until many years later, but I do have Asperger's. I'm not deep on the spectrum, but it is there. And then there was also the fact that I was born with failure to thrive syndrome. So my fight or flight reactions are kind of both the same thing at the same time, which causes a lot of anxiety and really just creates a very massive situation for me psychologically when I'm kind of like put on the spot. And now those are the three things that I learned about myself as I was creating this journey for myself. So I was like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? I'm 13, maybe almost 14 at this point in my life. And I'm really sitting with this and really trying to figure this out. And so I decided to figure it out. So I did a lot of trying, a lot of learning. Okay, so how do I make connections? I really want to do that because that's obviously the problem here. I want her to say I love you. I would really love that. So I tried all kinds of things. Oh my gosh, so many things. I failed hard and I failed fast. And that's something that's never changed about me. You've all seen me do that. Fail hard, fail fast, figure it out, write it down, figure this out, put this there, spreadsheets, whole 9 yards. Granted, I didn't have spreadsheets when I was 13, but I did have a lot of journals. And I kept track of everything. There were times where I overshared to try to make a connection. That did not go well. There were times where I didn't share enough just to try to see, and that just alienated people. There were times where I actually A/B tested my own personality. So I would create different versions of myself, different people for the different people in my life. And all that did was make me a compulsive liar. Nobody knew up from down when it came to me. They're like, this girl, she's got more issues than I thought she did. But I was trying. And so between the ages of like 12 and 14, it was really bad. It was crazy, but I was keeping notes, took a lot of experiments. None of these experiments were a failure because I did learn something. But what I ended up learning was that I was doing it wrong. And that's the whole point of this live right now. I was going about this backwards. So what I'm trying to help you all with, my new theme for Heartfelt is don't try to manifest clients, be manifestable. And so what I had to do was take a look at the golden rule, even. Like, really, treat others as you would have yourself be treated. And it seems very basic. Don't be an asshole. But also, I, as a child who didn't know how to be treated, let alone how to treat others, I'm losing my mind trying to figure this out and just making everybody like, whoa, this girl is too much right now. I did not know how I wanted to be treated. So I took the approach and I reversed it for myself. And I figured out what works for me. And then I could use my empathy to say, okay, so this trigger for me, I feel you feeling that too. Okay, now there's a connection. Now I was connecting with people. Granted, Jenny didn't notice at all. To this day, she's never said it. It's never worked out like that. But that connection from me to them, instead of it being the other way around, because I was trying to create what looked like a connection, not what felt like a connection. And that was where I was like, oh, I get it. Connections can look this way, but if you don't feel this way, it's not going to happen. So instead of trying to create a system for myself where I was kind of manipulating my own circumstances to make it look like I was connecting with people, I needed to connect with myself first. And that was so empowering. So empowering. And I'm going to get to how I use that in my business and how I'm going to share that with you as well. But that is where it's at. I made myself connectable to other people. I started respecting my own boundaries. I started saying, no, that's none of your business. I started saying, this is what I'm good at. I started having a sense of self in my connections rather than making it about them all the time. Okay, you, can I connect with you? Let's try it this way. Let's try it that way. It was more like I needed to connect with myself so that I could be connectable. And that's where this is all about. I want you to be connectable so that your clients are just like, wow, I'm so glad I found this person. So happy I found this person. And that's what this is really, truly about. And so what I want you to think about is how manifestable are you? Now, a lot of you here, I'm seeing lots of comments, but I'm afraid if I read them all, I'm going to cry again. A lot of you here are my clients. And how many of you, raise your hand if you like, prove me wrong if you like, how many of you know where you found me? How many of you haven't said to me directly, you're a gift from heaven. I needed you and you just showed up. You're just there. I mean, how many of you have ever been pitched to from me? None of you, I promise you that. But I made myself available to the universe so the universe could just plop me in your lap and give you exactly what you need to grow and to be and to have exactly what it is you're looking for. You manifested me because I told myself I'm worth it. And hey, universe, anybody who needs me, just send them my way. I'm available. Now, granted, I didn't just say those words and it happened. There is a system. So back to the story. I kept a lot of notes and I did a lot of things and I failed miserably a lot. But I ended up being able to distill within myself, for myself, the things that I need in order to be connectable. It wasn't about me connecting with other people. It was about allowing, bringing down that wall, not being afraid to connect. That taught me a lot. And so I came up with the triggers. You should by now know about the triggers. Right now there are 10, but back then there were over 40 different things. And I am collecting little short clips about all 40 some odd of them for you. There's 11 of them up for you now. If you want those, just put it in the comments. Say, hey, I want those first 11 triggers and I'll get those to you. But what happened was I really distilled it down. And you know how I distilled it down? I used one of the things that everybody else was using against me, my Asperger's. Having Asperger's means that I can assimilate things and I can put things together and I can organize thoughts and I never forget. I very rarely forget anything. And that really helped me a lot to be able to just take all of these moving parts and emotions and say, you know what? This is the order that I see this happening in. And even as a child, and this is before I was even diagnosed, but they just knew that I was on the spectrum. So I used that superpower and I still use it today in all of my sessions. Those of you who have been in a session with me, you've seen the magic of it. And I was able to put it all together into these triggers. And that was amazing. But there's still another big but. Jenny never noticed the connections that I was making. I was making a lot of connections, and a few of you are here today. I mean, there are people here in my group that I have known for 30 years. Heather, you are one of them. And it's actually Heather's family that I connected with. And her family kind of took me under. They saw what was happening and they witnessed certain things. Even Heather has witnessed this woman say, I don't love you, in front of her as my friend growing up. And so her family was my manifestation, my second iteration of this manifestation. They loved me. They cared for me. They did everything that they could to make sure that I felt powerful and empowered and loved. Okay, Heather and her Truxtons. I manifested it eventually. I did, but I could only manifest it when I figured out that one missing piece. And that one missing piece came from another family, but a beautiful family. I mean, her dad is like a life coach. And honestly, there's nothing Jim Truxton's potatoes can't fix either. When he saw that I was upset, he'd be like, here you go, just eat, just eat. And it was just a beautiful thing. I mean, it was a different family, not the same one, but I would spend summers, almost full summers, with that family instead. And I had the space to laugh and cry, be silly, screw things up, learn, help, be, have, grow. I couldn't do any of that with my first manifestation, but with that second manifestation, because I learned how to connect, because I learned how to say thank you, I love you, how can I help, these sorts of things, it all worked out. So thank you, Truxtons. Love you all dearly. I hope I make you proud. Okay, moving on. We're almost done with the story. So once again, she did say it to me one final time. She said it probably 5 or 6 times throughout my tenure with them. But she said it one final time to me a few days before graduation. Oh God, if she had just waited a few days, it would all been, but she did not witness the connections. She was not connecting. I honestly, at that point, I gave up anyways. I got plenty of people to connect with. You don't have to be on the list. She said it one more time, and this time it was with some finality, like, oh my God, okay. Because it was, I don't love you, I'm not connecting with you, it's time for you to go. I was like, oh God. And granted, I was about to graduate. I had gotten a full ride scholarship to CMU. Everything was be fine anyways, but just the language with which it was used really hit me because now I'm grown up a little bit. And so now I'm asking myself some more grown up questions. When I was 12, I was asking myself, what do I do? What does this mean? And now I'm definitely older, 16. And now my questions are, am I ever going to get married? Will I have kids? Oh God, I should not have kids. There's no way I would be able to be a good mom if I can't even no. Oh my God, am I ever going to have a job? Even if I do get hired, will I be able to keep a job if I can't even manage this one relationship? I'm being kicked out. What? How do I do this? What's going to happen? Here I am about to go to college, and for what? I'm going to learn all these things, but never be able to use it. What am I going to do? How do I move forward? Because I had the protection of at least a roof over my head, but now I'm not going to have that, and I need to, what's going to happen? And so this shaped the next 20 years of my life. Did not have, well, I did briefly get married to a sailor when I was 19. That did not work out. Did not have kids, and I never had a job. Okay, one job. I worked at Wendy's for a couple of weeks in college, but I got fired for Britney Spearsing it up in the drive-thru with the little microphone and everything. So, of course. But I never had a job. I have been a lifelong entrepreneur. And what you see here today, I'm glad it worked out, definitely. What you see here today is actually the product of a limiting belief that came from that one conversation, that one last time. Because I pretty much have been painting myself as unhireable, so I got to make my own thing. And so I did, and it worked out. Obviously, it worked out. And it was fun, and everybody thought I was crazy. So after college, I didn't use my degrees or any, nothing. I was a model for 3 years, just traveling the world, Asia, everywhere. And it was nice. It was fun, got bored and lonely. I definitely got lonely. So I wanted to stop modeling, moved back to New York, and I started a media firm. It was called Inner Concept Media, ICM. And it was a struggle at first. It definitely was. But this is where the triggers came back into my life in such a big way, such a big way. So what happened was I was still modeling a bit. My agency was very mad because I wanted to quit. And they were like, nope, you still have a contract. And if the contract's not broken, then you're still bound. And so I broke my contract. I cut my hair into a pixie cut. And I thought they were going to be like, you broke your contract, you have to leave. No, that's not what happened. They loved it, and they just kept pushing me out there. And so I set my boundaries. I went to my triggers. I set a boundary. I said, you know what, fine, I'll keep working for you, but I'm not going to casting calls. I'm not going to stand in a line with my portfolio and waste my time. If somebody wants me, they can book me, and I will be available. My business exploded there. More people wanted me, and I was getting even bigger clients like Giovanni and Alberto Macaulay, my two favorite clients, the nicest people and the most beautiful gowns. Oh my gosh, gorgeous, right? And I also still wanted to start this company, Inner Concept Media. The idea was there. And even my husband will tell you, when I get an idea, it gets to the point where it's either shut up about it or do something about it. So I did something about it. When a client wanted me to be their model, I just asked for the opportunity to throw my hat in the ring to handle their media and their marketing. And they were like, okay, I'm not going to not look at your proposal. I really want you on my cover or whatever. And so I started getting some clients, and it was amazing. Started small. I didn't even have an office at this time. Actually, one of my clients from Basics Black Label, his name is David Sadot, let me have a desk in his basement amongst these racks of dresses. He actually let me just set up there. He believed in me that much. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And I exploded really, really quickly. I was getting clients. And the first one that I got was, and I already said the name, Alberto Macaulay. And it's a huge designer. Huge. If you haven't heard of Alberto Macaulay, just Google him. It's amazing. Red carpet, everything. And I was the model for their lookbook for the Javits Center. And I was also the person putting together the entire campaign. And I actually still have it. That is me on the cover. That is me on the back cover. And this is all me. I'm in it, I'm on it, and I'm the one doing it for them. This was the breaking point. This is the one. Oh, this is one is my favorite. I like this one. And this is me, pixie cut and all, just doing it. Nobody's telling me I can't, right? So I get Alberto Macaulay. After Alberto Macaulay comes all the other big fish, right? And I'm not really pitching to these people. I'm just doing my thing, presenting myself, saying you can have A if you give me B. And then I give them C. And so this book, not only am I in it and on it, I'm the one who put it together. I'm the one who hired the photographer and the makeup artist. I'm the one who sent it to a printing press in China and figured out the shipping and billing and lading. I'm the one who helped them to set up their situation at the Javits Center for the displays. Everything. I did it all. It all. And that's when it really kicked off. That's when the people on Madison Avenue, if you've ever seen Mad Men, these media and advertising agencies started to take notice. They're like, she's 24 years old, and what the hell? How is she doing this? And the bravest of them, there were three of them, three gentlemen, came to me and they were just, how are you doing this? We've been in this industry for decades. And you're taking our biggest clients and you don't even have an office. What are you doing? And that's when it really came together, the triggers. And I shared it with them. They paid nicely. Trust me, they paid nicely. They paid for my $30,000 Hasselblad. It was a beautiful thing. And so I put it all together in a document and I shared it with them. And at that time, there were 40 some odd of them. And I kind of distilled them down. At that point, it was like 20 something. I distilled them down and down and down. And that's where it all started. Right there. Those triggers that I had learned from hearing, I don't love you, I can't connect, all the way straight through to million and billion dollar ad agents saying, how are you doing this? How are you connecting these dots? And at the end of the day, I could tell my clients and my potential clients, I'm not here to market to or at your people. I'm here to help you connect with them. And that was it. That was it. And it also does help that, I was their ideal market anyways, but I was smart enough to see where that was. My niche was me. And that's where, when I talk to you guys all about your niches, make your niche you as much as you can until you can explode. And that's where that all started. Granted, ICM did not last forever, obviously, because now I'm heartfelt. It did end in a very strange dovetail, which is a whole nother story. But I ended up moving to Brooklyn, meeting my husband, having children who love me, I'm connected to them, we do everything together, and it's true. It's a true connection that I have with my family. So these triggers are what I'm giving you. If you haven't seen that training, let me know. I'm going to put here in the comments and in the description a link to a very recent training that I did. It's a co-live that I did with Olu that goes through all 10 of the psychological triggers that I have now. Yes, I distilled it down from 40 something to 10 nice, tidy triggers for you. And that's going to be very, very powerful for you. So make sure that you at least know them, at least be aware of them, because these triggers, if you do them in your business and for yourself, they're going to help you be manifestable. You're going to be the coach or the mentor or the service provider that people are like, oh, that's just what I need. Such good timing. Oh, thank God. People are going to feel like they're in the right place at the right time with the right person, with the right tools, and somebody who understands where they are, where they want to go, and exactly how to get them to that spot. That's what we're trying to do here with these triggers. That connection, we're trying to connect in a way that is organic and loving and generous. Generosity, you guys all know about that. And it all leads with gratitude, absolutely. So what I want you to do is, number one, take a look at the triggers. And number two, I want to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to join me this week in using them in the exact way that I do. So what I have is not just the triggers. I have my spreadsheet. Yes, I love it. I have a spreadsheet that I can give you. If you're interested, comment here, spreadsheet, please, and I will get you the link to it. Excuse me. I will get you the link to that spreadsheet. And it is a tracker. So you can put a person's name in the spreadsheet and you can track every single one of these emotional and psychological triggers that you're taking this person through. And I'm telling you, if you get somebody to trigger number 6, you're good. You're good. Just obviously finish the triggers, but that person is probably going to do whatever it is that you want them to do as far as conversion. Sometimes I do it just to grow my group. Like, all right, if I get person to trigger number 6, they're definitely joining my group. Sometimes it's to fill a program. All right, if I get somebody to trigger number 6, they're probably going to sign up for this program or buy this thing or join this group or whatever it might be. But I have it all set up. It's even color coded. So the further you get in the triggers, the darker green they come, and you're like, oh, that person's close. Yay. I'm nurturing them just enough, not too much. You don't want to overdo it because that's creepy. Tried that, failed. Again, still failing fast. But we want to just make sure that we're giving everybody what it is that they need emotionally so that you are what they manifested rather than the other way around. When I said, oh, I need a client, I need a client. No, you need to let them manifest you. And this is how it's done. This is exactly how it's done. So the challenge here is, and if you've been a one-on-one client with me, you've done this before and probably cried. The challenge here is to use this trigger tracker and get at least 20 people every single day for 1 week into this trigger tracker and try your darndest to get them to at least trigger number 6. So I want you to say, hell yes, I'm doing that. 20 sounds like a lot. It does. But if you consider all of the people, what is it, like 3.7 billion or something like that, people on Facebook alone, there are 20 of them who need your help. There are. And so what we want to do is find those people in other groups, in your own group, wherever it might be, Instagram, anywhere. Find people who need your help and help them. No pitching. No pitching. Help them. Just give them 100% of what they need and then let them know what their next step might be. For me, I'll find somebody, I'll help them out 100%, give them some links to something, that sort of thing. And then say, you know what, there's a lot more of this. There's like 24 plus hours of free training and pitch free training, by the way, in my group. Let me know if you want me to point you in that direction. More often than not, they'll say yes, please. And then everybody else who's reading that thread will join my group as well. And this is just a great way to grow your group even. But more often than not, that person's going to be more than intrigued in my group. They're going to want to see what else there is. And that's how they sign up for things. That's how when I offer something, like I open the incubator, people are just like, yes, I've been waiting. Me, please. I don't have to market anything because I'm not the kind of person to market. I connect. And if the connection is real, if it feels real, not just looks real, because remember, that's what I learned as a child. It can look like this, but if it doesn't feel like this, it's not a connection. It's not. It needs to feel connected. And this is how we do that, by creating circumstances where we understand them, we're sharing with them, we're growing with them, we're interested. So please, if you're interested in taking this challenge with me, 20 people a day for 1 week, I guarantee you will have multiple people signing up for your programs, joining your group, whatever your goal is, you're definitely going to make a difference in a lot of people's lives. 20 people times 7, that's a lot of people, right? Right? That's a lot of people to be affecting. And this is how you create a name for yourself. This is how people stumble upon you, sign up for something, and they don't even know where you came from. How did I find you? Where did you come from? How did I just become your client? What's happening here? Please, if you're interested, let me know. Drop it here, say spreadsheet, please. And I'm also going to be creating a registration spreadsheet for everyone so that I know who's taking part in this challenge. And what I'm going to do is keep track of all of you. So if you're in it, if you're part of this, I want you to be able to take a screenshot each day and show me your 20 people. And now I know it can be a little awkward taking spreadsheets of or taking screenshots of your spreadsheet because you have people's names in it. So what I've done is in the spreadsheet, there's a bar that you can move around. It just says heartfelt tracker. You can just move that bar over the names column. It's just wide enough so that people can't see the names. That way we're protecting everybody's privacy. And just take a screenshot, show me your 20 for the day. The person who does it every day for 7 days, even if there's multiple of you, will get a free seat in the actual Become Manifestable program that I'm launching here starting on not next Monday, the Monday after, the last week of the month. And that one is going to be interesting because you're going to go further into this with me during that program. It's going to be more of a, okay, these are the actual lessons, screw ups that happened that taught me this specific trigger. You're going to learn a lot of embarrassing things about me, but you're also going to feel more into each one of the triggers and learn different ways to use it, or even do this thing so that it hits all of these triggers at one time and saves you a lot of time here and there, and be able to really connect with people. It's going to be very intimate. It's going to be a group thing, but an intimate thing. I'm not going to have more than 30 people in it. It's also only going to be $88. I'll put the link in here for you, but the details are all there. If you have questions, let me know. But the people who go the whole week, doing 20 people a day, getting to at least trigger number 6, will have a free seat in that program with me. So you'll learn all of the embarrassing crap and also really have some one-on-one, digestion of how to use these triggers and how to get people all the way through to conversion as well. And on that note, I do recall that I forgot to mention one last final thing about the story, and I'm probably gonna cry about this as well. So I explained to you that Jenny said it one last time to me a few days before graduation. And if she had just waited just a couple days, she might be able to take that back, but she can't. So what happened was she did finally learn that I could connect, just not with her. She learned it very publicly, and I imagine it might have been even a little bit embarrassing for her. Just a little bit. So what happened was graduation came, and of course the awards are given. My name's said a couple dozen times. I'm standing up and sitting down, standing up and sitting down, and she's clapping, whatever. And then what happened was towards the end, what my name was said again, but it wasn't to come up and get an award. It was the principal, or the dean. We called him dean. He was saying, he was so proud of the class of 2001, like most people do. And, just talking about the kids and how helpful they've been and like the great things that have happened throughout their career in the high school and everything like that. And then he said my name. I'm not going to cry. He said that he came across a paper that I had written called Mr. Robert. And it was a paper that I wrote, I don't even know even if it was for a class. I was just an avid writer and journaler. And he came across this paper, and he put it into the, the little flyer thing for graduation, take this away, that kind of thing, memories and stuff like that. And he read it out loud. I actually have it here. Mr. Robert. It's a short story that I wrote. It's about an elderly gentleman who was a regular at the food pantry that I worked at. Well, I donated my time, volunteered at our church, St. Anne's in Baldwin. And it was something I enjoyed doing. I'd go to like the nursing homes, the food pantries, that sort of thing. And I wrote this just about him. He struck me, and about a connection that we had made. I'm not going to try to read any of this to you because I'm already crying. But it's a story about a connection, a very powerful, giving connection. And she had to sit there this whole time and listen to somebody else saying, look how much she connected. Look how much Jessica Masinski connected with this stranger. And if I'm Jenny, I'm thinking to myself, shit, I missed out. All I had to do was connect back. And I could have had a relationship with this person that everybody in this entire auditorium is in tears over. How much she could connect with this stranger. And she's supposed to be my daughter. She missed out. Afterwards, she did say that she was proud of me. That meant nothing. It meant nothing. Because I knew nothing was going to change. Nothing was changing. And it still hasn't. It's been probably 20 years since I spoke to her, and I don't plan on doing it anytime soon. But the person who supposedly could not connect the person who supposedly had just a break in her brain is now the person who $1 Million Mad Men and everybody who helps everybody comes to learn how to connect. So that's my win. I wanted to make sure that you guys got the win. So thank you for listening. I know this one went really long, but it's important for me, for you, I guess. It's important for you to understand that everything that I have here in Heartfelt isn't something I learned in Marketing 101. It's actually the opposite of what I learned in Marketing 101. This is myself. This is my journey. And I'm happy to share it with you all. I'm very grateful. Thank you. I'm not going to end this in tears. Miche, you're going to have to tell a really funny joke after this, okay? I love you all, and I'm here for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and if you are here to join me on this challenge to truly connect and really be manifestable with your people.